Now, I have to thank Bricklink for saving me a lot of money from this series of the Bricklink Designer Program. One of the very legitimate critiques about the Siege Encampment was the fact that it did not have very many minifigures. This one was the beginning of the downfall for me personally. In just over 28 days, Series 4 of the Bricklink Designer Program, possibly the most controversial series to date, even considering there's been 3 since, is opening for crowdfunding to the public. And now, if you remember, about 9 months ago, I posted a video saying LEGO let us down because they revealed 2 castle sets in one Bricklink series, and I found that very harsh. I did not like that at all because personally I'm not a huge castle fan, and I know the Bricklink Designer Program gets a lot of scuff for sometimes choosing castles. And since I did have an interview with the program manager and dispelled many of those rumors, but still it did leave a sour taste in many people's mouths that the Bricklink Designer Program is kind of turning into a castle designer program. But let's see if 9 months later, with the official reveal of the pricing and the official pictures, if these sets are better than we remember. With the merchant boat, I actually thought this was one of the better sets for Series 4. That might be a little bit of a controversial take in and of itself, but Nicolas Carlier did an amazing job with this fun little design of the merchant boat. And if you watch my video, I actually guessed that the set would reveal at around $180. However, if we scroll down to the actual price, it's $169.99 or $170, which comes in at just under $10 on my estimated price. But looking at this set, it's pretty fun. It's got a couple of stickers and a handful of minifigs, not as many as some of the other sets, but I still kind of hold to the fact that this is one of my favorite designs of Series 4. Now, if you know a lot of the older fans of LEGO, they typically love their LEGO trains, so they are going to be eating very well with this set here. Is probably one of the best trains from the Bricklink Designer Program that we have ever seen across almost all of the programs. Lucky designed a beautiful Wild West train, and if you compare it to the original design on the left, it is fairly close, but one thing does certainly stand out, and that is the number of minifigures. Looking at the number of minifigures here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 minifigures in this set for a total of $280. Now, I do think that large price is fairly warranted because there's almost 3,200 pieces. Now, granted, there's a lot of smaller pieces to get the detail in these sets. However, I do have to say this train design is very, very appealing to the eye, and I love that it has its own track to stand on. That certainly, I would hate to not have it have any track, but we also have a couple of horses to go in it, and you can even make your own little scene, which is something I think they added from the original design. It wasn't originally a standoff set where you had essentially cops and robbers, if you will, but in the new iteration, in the final design, working with Bricklink, with some of these changes made, we can see that they are fending off some robbers and some potential horse thieves, if you will. This is a beautiful set. I'm very excited for the train fans. However, that is a little bit of a hefty price tag to see with this series, and most sets across the board in the series, I don't think we have a single set under $100. Moving on to the first castle set, we have Medieval Seaside Market, designed by Bricks Fan. This one was the beginning of the downfall for me personally, because I didn't find this as one of the more creative iterations of castles in Series 4. However, it does strike me a bit differently because when you look at the actual pictured sets compared to the studio designs, it does stand out a lot more. The colors pop a lot better, and you can just see how the designer intended it to look. A fun aspect of this set as well is the fact that it is very, very modular. You can see the original design on the left. The fan designer, Bricks Fan, wanted it to be modular, in fact. However, it looks like they were able to take it to the next step with the Bricklink designers and make it even more modular, which is a lot of fun. Even the top comes off, the top castle comes off right here, and there's just a lot going on, I do have to say, and it looks like they bolstered up the ship build a bit in the dock, so you have a little bit more of that dock vibe with this set, and it does, I do have to say, it does look better. It feels more verbose, if you will. And we do get 9 minifigures with this set, which is great. Of course, we are focusing mainly on the Lion Knights in this build, which is kind of fun when you take into consideration the siege encampment that we'll get into very soon. Of course, with this one rounding out for around $230, I do believe it is the cheapest castle set that we have ever gotten so far. So you castle fans out there, if you found some of those other sets just a little too pricey, this one might be perfect for you because of that price range. Reining in at almost 2,600 pieces, the 230 price tag does not surprise me. Even from the original pictures on the left, it looks like we are getting a lot more minifigures than we would have expected. So it is wonderful to see that Bricklink and the program manager there, they are giving more minifigures to the fans. Moving on to the second to last set, Siege Encampment. I spoke very disparagingly of this set in my initial review, and if I'm being completely honest, I do kind of have to still stay there just because it is at the very heart the same build, the same design. However, we do have a little bit more variety in this build because we do get extra elements in stickers to swap out the factions between the Lion Knights and the Black Falcons. So don't be confused by seeing 2 offensive towers because we in fact are only getting one of these, but you are, as said, able to swap out. And of course, these are very likely all stickered pieces. I know the flag is stickered, and I believe the shields here will be stickered as well. So this set does actually come with a lot of stickers. One of the very legitimate critiques about the Siege Encampment was the fact that it did not have very many minifigures. If we look at the original design, it's just very hard even to pick out where the minifigures are. If I had to guess, there would be about 8 or less minifigures in this set. But if we go to the final version, we can pick out so many minifigures, which I think was a huge must for a Siege Encampment where you would expect lots and lots of soldiers about. So if we count them real quick, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. About 18 or so, maybe more if I missed one, minifigures in the Siege Encampment, which in my opinion was a huge must. I don't think you really can have a legitimate Siege Encampment without so many minifigures to really fill it out and build out your camp. So that was a great, wonderful addition to see. They did kind of entice the viewers or potential consumers with this set by showing it next to the Lion Knights castle. And when Bricklink does do this with their pictures, I do think it's awesome, but at the same time does kind of give an unfair advantage to sets like this when they show it next to existing sets. And there, I do have to say, it does look really, really good next to the Lion Knights castle. However, I'm not a huge castle person, so I know that kind of takes me out of a bit, but you'll have to let me know in the comments. Is seeing this next to the Lion Knights castle, next to the mountain fortress, does that make you want to get this set even more? Or does it completely bring you from not wanting it all to entirely wanting it? You'll have to let me know in the comments below if this is swaying you. Lastly, we do have the Riverside Scholars, which, as you can see, was fairly similar to the original design, which isn't surprising at all. Hanwha has made some amazing designs when it comes to his Riverside sort of fantasy world sub-theme that he's created with the ocean house and then the windmill in a previous series. Coming with a standard number of minifigures, this is about what I would expect, and in that middle range of about $200 for this set. Here it is pictured with the other sets that we've seen in previous series, of course not included with this purchase, but it is really cool to see the synergy and holistic aspect that he brings to his designs and just the collective nature of the designs we see here. Once again, seeing this in a real pictured environment really stands out to me. It brings the colors much more to life, whereas when we see it in the original design, the colors are pretty flat and desaturated, not realistic to what you would see under good lighting. But seeing them over here in that great lighting, that vibrant color, it really does stand out. And I can't wait to see the reviews of these in hand, because I think that's really going to change people's minds for better or for worse. It's very interesting to see how this works out. For those of you who plan on purchasing the entire wave of Series 4 for the Bricklink Designer Program, it is going to run you over $1,100 to purchase one of each of these sets. Now, I have to thank Bricklink for saving me a lot of money from this series of the Bricklink Designer Program, because I will unfortunately be passing on every single one of these solely because I know the future waves have a lot more sets that I prefer. But you'll have to let me know in the comments below, are you you going to pick out any of these sets, or was your mind changed from seeing the final pictures versus the initial submitted design? Thanks for catching this episode of a Bricklink Designer Program breakdown, and we'll see you on the next one.